Salute, salute, salute. Wow, what it is, what it do, man. It's Nocturnal Thoughts, real quick video. Then I'm gonna get out y'all way. Real quick video, 5 minutes. How in the fuck is Frank Martin going to be able to beat Shakur Stevenson? Now, from what I gather, it is a far-gone conclusion that Shakur Stevenson is heads and shoulders above Frank Martin when it comes to the experience, the ring IQ, and the ring generalship and overall boxing skills when it comes to comparing Shakur Stevenson and Frank Martin. We all know that Frank Martin got a late start, but he's been kind of fast-tracked to be in a great position, and he had to learn on the job, and he had to put in a lot of work to make up for lost time. On the other hand, we know Shakur Stevenson has been boxing since he was a kid, and he's been a boxing phenom and a boxing virtuoso, where he is constantly soaking up game and constantly trying to improve on top of what already genetically or through God gifts, boxing God gifts, already old boxing mentality of the sweet science, mastering the distance, mastering your range, ring generalship, controlling the pace, establishing that jab, running combinations, check hooks, pull counters, which is overall Shakur Stevenson has displayed great talent and great ability that almost has separated him from his peers, if we only get to see him fight against the Devin Haney's and the Gervonta Tank Davises and the Teofimo Lopez's and the Lomachenko's. But so far, we have seen him shed that amateur style and develop and mature and dominate champions like Jamel Herring and Oscar Valdez, and defeat great opponents like Robinson Conceição. And in his last performance, I do believe he got a stoppage. I do believe he knocked out his last opponent. You know, we've seen Frank Martin have great performances, show great footwork, athleticism, reflexes, fast learner, explosive, power, speed. In his last performance, I felt like it has made a lot of people, and even in his other performances against not Michelle Rivera, that was probably one of his highlight performances, against the performance against that one kid that got that loss against Rolly Romero that he should have won. I forget his name. But even in that fight, you could sort of see, even though Frank Martin got the KO, you could still just see the deficiencies and the holes and the gaps in his game that he needed to just keep tightening up, you know what I'm saying, and evolving and improving on his skill. But you can see the intangibles and intangibles, you could see the potential, you could see the room for improvement, you could see where he was naturally gifted and coachable fighter. Got Derrick James. Of course, we got the Derrick James and Errol Spence and Frank Martin against the Brian McIntyre and the Terrence Bud Crawford and the Shakur Stevenson. So everything is already kind of built in to have a great storyline. But how can Frank Martin defeat Shakur Stevenson when the attributes don't seem to be 50-50? I'm gonna say this real quick, then I'm gonna cut this video so I can continue later. I don't want to stretch this out. But I would say, first of all, boxing is the theater of the unexpected, and the only thing, one of the main things Frank Martin could have is an element of surprise, because we haven't seen everything that he's able to do. Even though he has been kind of learning on the job, I still feel like if everybody's expecting him to have this style that's only developed around putting pressure on Shakur Stevenson and making him uncomfortable and trying to trap him and put him on the ropes and put him in the corner and break him down and make it more of a rough and tumble fight, I would use that as a tactic of distraction. But my game plan, if he has the ability, because I really see the only ability to pull Shakur Stevenson off of his game plan and his square, because Shakur Stevenson is like a consummate professional and he's always dialed in, he always is focused, and he really doesn't let anything break his concentration. Once he gets into the zone, once he gets into his element, it's almost like, it's just him fighting against himself, really. But he still hasn't been under the huge bright lights, where he has his moment to where he hasn't. Okay, I don't want to go down that lane. I go way too far down the rabbit hole. I'm saying one tactic that Frank Martin could have is the element of surprise. Make them think you weak when you strong. Use your weaknesses as strengths. The fact that you inexperienced and they think that you only have the power and the athleticism, and you can only win against Shakur Stevenson by making it a onslaught attack that I don't think he would really be able to maintain and sustain. I would say first round, second round, come out showing that that's what you're going to be doing, attacking. But eventually, my real game plan would be to draw you into coming into my power, or actually coming into where I can be more precise, sharpshoot, use my speed, get off a good shot, and then clinch up. Because Frank Martin gonna have to be all the way out or all the way in. You're not gonna be able to win mid-range with Shakur Stevenson. I think if you stay in mid-range with Shakur Stevenson and try to be slick and try to outbox him and outwit him and out-IQ him, I think he will pick you apart and break you down and embarrass you. If you come forward too much, you're gonna get check hooked into the ropes and countered and embarrassed. But if you can have the same kind of power and explosiveness off your back foot and off your side to side, make them think you're gonna be coming forward, but then now you're fighting off your back foot, and you can be precise and dangerous on your back foot, then you might be able to draw Shakur Stevenson out of his comfort zone. You might be able to clip him, or you might be able to outpoint him if you have a mixed bag of tricks. A plan A and B hybrid style, a plan B and C hybrid style, a plan A, B, and C hybrid style, because you ain't going to be able to just have one style or one plan. You're going to have multiple plans and use them to work all at the same time, because you're looking at Shakur Stevenson, who is a genius when it comes to the boxing elements and the sweet science. He's usually calculated and measured you, and is usually 2 and 3 steps ahead of you. So the only thing that you can do is, not to say the only thing, but one of the main things you would have to do would be have a game plan that's using a level of deception and not be predictable and telegraphed and elementary. It has to be a high level ring IQ against a chess player like Shakur Stevenson. Video stretched out twice as long as I wanted it to. So this is my thoughts. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Bow, it's nocturnal. And subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel.